And welcome, welcome. I am Reverend Karin Lewis. I think I forgot to say that earlier. For those of you who don't know me, welcome. Welcome to our sanctuary. Welcome to our community. Welcome home. So today, we are going to start off a little different. It's a new year. So I'm going to instruct all of us on a ritual. Would you all please stand? And this is also for our people on the live stream. And we are going to have 3 hand claps. The first hand clap is to let go and forgive ourselves for everything we didn't do last year, everything we thought we should have done and didn't do. So we're going to clap 1 time on 3 and just let it go. 1, 2, 3. Oh. This works better than I thought. The second hand clap is invitational. We are inviting in everything that supports us in our spiritual awakening on this path to spiritual maturity. On 3, we are going to clap 1 time. 1, 2, 3. Oh, feel that. Feel that. Now, the third and final clap is for stepping into unprecedented availability for the good of life to come into our hearts. Here's the warning. Only clap if you're ready for it. Okay? On 3. 1, 2, 3. Yes! Sit down. Ushers, come forward. I think we're done. Oh, welcome. Thank you for that. Thank you. Thank you. I have been working a lot this week with this idea of change. We often say this teaching, Ernest Holmes said it, change your thinking, change your life. And I have been feeling into it, and what became clear to me is that change really allows for a little bit of wiggle room. How often have we changed our diet only to change back to the old ways? Or how often have we changed our mind? And so I asked myself, what is there beyond change? What is deeper than change? What does not give us the opportunity to change back? And that is transformation. Transformation. And the familiar example is the butterfly. Right? And I wonder, does the butterfly ever think, once it becomes a butterfly, ooh, I'm flying way too high, I want to go back into that little cocoon? And maybe if we think about our butterfly nature, right? The times when we have stepped up big right to the edge and said, I am ready, we did something, we transformed, and then something didn't quite work out so well, and we were like, oh, can I get back? Only to figure out the biggest difference between change and transformation is no wiggle room. We cannot go back. The butterfly cannot squeeze itself back into the cocoon. The acorn, think about the acorn. Once the acorn gets this impetus to crack open and sprout, it can't say, yeah, this is not working for me. I'm going back. Not happening. So that is what I am interested in, and that is what I believe this teaching really asks us to do. It asks us to transform. And how many of us have felt a transformation because of this teaching? Right? Yes. Yes. So grateful. So grateful for that. Now then I ask myself, okay, that is where we want to go. We want to transform. That is why we find our way into a spiritual community, into a place like this. We do want to transform. How can we then create an environment that is conducive to it, that helps us, that nurtures that transformation? And what I think about is self-care. Now, usually when we hear self-care, we think about a massage, you know. Who doesn't like a nice massage? Little mani and pedi, right? Little taking care, getting the hair, whatever, you know. But the self-care I am talking about is a capital S self-care. It is taking care of the self that is at the very center of our being, that is the divine. And how can we support each other in taking care of that self? I like to look at nature, and that's why I so appreciated that song that you sang, Lisa, right? Because nature does not have what we are blessed with, and that is free will. And I put it into quotation marks because, I don't know about you, but sometimes having free will is a little challenging, right? Think about in nature, the acorn knows exactly when it is time to blossom open, to sprout. It doesn't need to call a coach and say, is this a good time for me to do this now? No. And yet we, as humans, we do that, right? And we need that because we have this thing called free will. Well, do I want to transform? Nah, I'll go back and get into the familiar. But not us, right? Because I think each and every one of you clapped on that third clap. So we are saying, and by participating in a community like this, we are saying, universe, I am ready. I am ready. I am ready to transform. So how then may we support ourselves in that? How then may we create an environment that is helping us on this journey? And I believe the first thing we want to look at is curiosity. Curiosity. I knew that was coming. A couple of months ago when my granddaughter was born, I said, every time I speak, I'm going to bring a picture of her because it makes this so easy. It opens our hearts, right? We see a baby and our hearts are open. There is Annalise, and she is curiosity. She's walking it out. When something is offered to her, she's not like, no, I want the blue one. I'm not interested in learning this new thing. No, she's leaning in. Last week, for the first time, she was offered food, real food, not mother's milk, and she was leaning in, curious. And I believe we can learn from our children. Imagine how different it would be when one of our buttons is getting pushed. You know, maybe somebody mentions the name of some figure and we feel anger rising immediately. Or, you know, we are in a conversation, it's not going the way we want it to go. Imagine how different it would be if we would lean in with curiosity and ask ourselves, well, I wonder why this happens to me all the time. I wonder why I react so strongly when someone cuts me off in traffic. I wonder why I create the same drama wherever I go. For me this week, it was, I wonder why I am so competitive. It is very different when we, with all the self-love and self-care we can muster up, ask ourselves, I wonder why, then the alternative, here I go again, I did it again, I never learn, that self-talk. So say that with me, I wonder why. Yeah, I wonder why. Do you feel the softening? I wonder why. Last week, those of you who were here last week, I talked about this belief that I had that I wasn't creative. And that question, I wonder why, opened up this invitation to go deeper and to take a look at where is that coming from? Where's this theme in my life coming from? Carolyn Mays, the writer, says that it only takes 6 seconds for us to have a new theme in our life. When we are young, we hear something, we are meaning-making machines, and we assign a meaning to that. 6 seconds. And then watching it play out, being so devoted to that false belief. Excuse me. Curiosity. Curiosity can help us with it. And so let's see what the quote says. Curiosity will conquer fear even more than bravery will. Yes. Yes. See, curiosity works so well because we have this divine encoding within us. Just like the acorn, just like the caterpillar has their divine encoding, so do we. And this divine encoding is waiting for us to give it space. Ernest Holmes, the founder of our teaching, says if we would devote 1 year to a specific practice, we would not recognize the way we label ourselves after a year. Let me say that again. If we would devote ourselves to a specific practice that speaks to us for a year, at the end of the year, we would not recognize the way we talk to ourselves, the way we hold ourselves. The moments when there's nobody around, when it's just us. So cast with me this vision. A year from now, we are in January of 2020, and we are looking back, and we say, oh my, look at how devoted we were to our transformation here at the New Vision Center in our individual lives. Can you see that? We are going to live this year, and if we devote ourselves to our transformation, everything will change. You will look into the mirror and not recognize yourself, for you will see the divine. So curiosity, I wonder why, I wonder how. The next part I would like to talk about is principle. If you have been in this teaching at all, you know that principle is to mean that which is greater than we are. The divine is a principle. It is not a person in the sky. It is not an image of it. It is the divine vibration, principle. And as we lean into this principle, it creates room in us. I found this quote, and you might recognize it because last week I had this quote. And it is really unusual for me. I like new stuff. But this quote has been with me this whole week, and there's more for us to see, I believe. This original life is infinite. It is good. It is filled with peace. It is the essence of purity. It is power. It is law. It is life. It is in us. That is how far we went last week. Ernest Holmes goes on and says, in that inner sanctuary of our own nature, hidden perhaps from objective gaze, nestles the seed perfection. Nestles the seed perfection. And you notice it's in quotation marks. So I asked myself, where did Ernest Holmes get that phrase from? It is from Walt Whitman. Yes. Ernest Holmes was a great writer. He was not good in giving sources, you know. He just didn't. But Google, yes. So Walt Whitman coined that phrase. I think the whole poem is called The Leaves of Grass. And it says in there, amidst the grossness and the slag, there, sometimes hidden, nestles the seed of perfection. And that, dear one, is within us. It is the divine in every one of us. Now you might say, Karin, I am not feeling it. Right? Right? It could happen. That is why I asked the practitioners this week if they would be okay if we would place a prayer request at every seat in the sanctuary. Because you see, prayer is the way that we can bring forth the seed of perfection that is at the very center of our being. Many of you know that we have a prayer box outside in the foyer, and we always have the opportunity to place in our prayer there. But I wanted to take a minute for all of us to fill out a prayer request. Now, you will find them in the seat in front of you. Those who are in the first row, there will be people behind you who will hand you a slip, because there should be duplicates behind. And I have asked Frank to play for 1 minute. For 1 minute, we're going to just have some piano music, and I ask you to take a moment and put down what is the seed of perfection that you would like to make manifest in your life. Let us begin. Thank you, Frank. You can just fold it. There will be baskets coming around in the next couple of minutes, and you can just place them in there and know that our practitioners and our ministers will take these prayer requests and we will pray over them the entire week, knowing, without a shadow of the doubt, the manifestation of that seed of perfection that is at the center of your being. So I would like to give a shout out to our practitioners. Let us acknowledge them and say thank you. So that is the second way how we cultivate this area of transformation, where transformation can take place. And the third and final point I would like to talk about is rhythm. Rhythm. Everything in nature has a rhythm. Everything within us has a rhythm. Our heartbeat. We're breathing in and breathing out. The ebb and flow of life and of the ocean. Everything is ebb and flow. Now, if we know that, if we really embody that, and we know that that is how it is, when we are in the ebb of things, we can say, oh, I'm just at the ebb. The flow will come. However, if we don't embody that principle, if we don't know that the flow is assured, even when we are in an ebbing place, we hold on so tightly, don't we? We freak out. We grab, we need stuff. Thank you so much for collecting all those prayer requests. And we are aware of the ebb and flow, of the rhythm of life. Is there any place in nature you can think of that there is not rhythm? I couldn't. There's always a rhythm. And here is what Sonia Choquette says. The universe has a pulse and rhythm of its own, and it wants to carry you with it. So if you dance with spirit, just remember to let it lead. When you dance with spirit, just remember to let it lead. So let's take a moment. There's a lot that happened this morning here. Remember back your own willingness to be unprecedentedly available for all the good that is here. We talked about leaning in with curiosity in the moments when we are having a button pushed, losing faith, something happens. Breathing, just breathing. And then there is the point of recognizing the rhythm. Everything has flow to it. And I don't know if this was by coincidence, but look at what those three first letters speak. CPR. Coincidence? Perhaps. I think it reminds us that there are ways where we can help each other to walk each other home. For the moments when we are in the ebb, where we can lean into another and find that they might be in the flow, and we can lean into it. I so hope that these three words help you cultivate and embody and enjoy the transformation that is surely taking place in each and every one of our lives. And so it is. Thank you. Thank you. Let us anchor all of this in prayer, and thank you so much for the people who collected the prayer requests. If you can just hold on to them, I will receive them right after the service. Thank you. So here we are, engaging in exactly that, knowing knowing beyond a shadow of a doubt that the seed of perfection is in each and every one of us. And so I ask the practitioners of this teaching, the practitioners in training, and really everyone who feels called to take a stand, to just rise. Breathe in while we recognize that there is one power, one presence. It is the divine, and it is right here, right now. It is love, it is peace, it is harmony, it is joy. And as we recognize that the divine is everywhere, we know that it is within us, that I am made in the image and liking. I am that which is greater than I am. I am peace. I am love. And as I know this truth for myself, I know this truth for every person. Every person that is standing, every person that is sitting, every person that ever hears this prayer. There is the divine encoding in us that is pushing inside, upward, wanting to be expressed, to be recognized, to be accepted, to be loved. And so how very grateful I am to know this truth. To know this truth if we are on the mountaintop or in the valley. If we're experiencing ebb or flow in our life. If we see challenges out there in the world or not. To know that the seed of perfection is right where I am. The I am. For we know that the innermost God and the highest God is truly just one God. It is just one. And so we feel this gratitude rising up. Thank you, life. Thank you, life. And with an overflowing heart, we say, and so it is.